Sampling techniques. So sampling is the process of selecting a subset of individuals from a population to be studied, a population of individuals or the individual observational units that you're interested in. Could be people, could be bees, could be politicians, could be countries, could be colonies, could be corals, could be fights, could be emotions, and so on. The most basic technique is the simple random sample. This is when a subset of a population is selected where every individual has an equal chance of being selected. And how do you achieve a random sample? Well, the kind of classic example, or one of them, is something like this. So suppose you want to study the states, the United States, and there are 50 of them, and the observational unit is a state itself. So each observational unit is a separate state. So to get a random sample of 15 states, because 50 may be too difficult to study, maybe you need to collect a lot of data about the 50 states, and you don't have the time or resources, and you sample. And how do you sample 15 states? Well, we may add all the names of all the 50 states into, write it on a small piece of paper, put it all into a hat, and mix it really well, and then retrieve 15 pieces of paper. And in this way, we can actually simulate random sampling. And this is called a simple random sample of a population. There are many other sampling techniques, all of which involve some aspect of randomness. And I point you to the textbook that we're using to examine some more of this. So for example, to ensure you select a few states from every region in your sampling, you may first separate the states into regions and then randomly select a few states from each region. This is called stratified sampling. So why would you do this if the first method that we talked about of putting all the states' names in a hat and then just drawing out 15? Well, and that's because the one time you draw the 15 out of 50, there's a chance that you retrieve 15 states in only 2 regions, maybe just Midwest and Southeast, or maybe just, one region. It's possible that they all come from the Midwest region. And in that sense, you do not end up with a representative sample. So in order to get a representative sample, what you may do is you actually have 5 or 6 different hats, and each hat has the states of the different regions. And then you take, 2 from each region or something like that. And in that sense, you have you ensure that you increase the chance that you have a more representative sample in your stratified sampling technique. And question, why do we want to make sure there is randomness in the sampling technique? Pause the video and think about it. The reason we want randomness in the sampling technique is to avoid bias, to reduce sampling bias. And there are other kinds of biases out there that I want you to think about and also take a look at in the textbook. But sampling bias is a big one. If you don't actually randomize your sampling for all kinds of reasons or impacts, you may end up with a sample that is biased. Maybe it only includes only young people. Maybe you are interested in studying individuals, but you went to a college campus, and the college campus is biased of having more young people. So if you do a study there with the people there, it's going to be maybe biased toward young people. So randomness in the selection helps avoid the sampling bias and obtain a more representative sample of the population you're interested in. That's it for this one. See you next time.